Welcome back to Studio Kaiju RC Review. You're here in my tiny little workspace in my den where I do my workbench testing and things like that. It's not a very big place. Sometimes it's a little messy place, but you know, messy desk, clean, sharp mind. That's my saying anyhow. So anyhow, Studio Kaiju RC Review, and today we're coming at you with a really cool machine that was really anxious to get my hands on, and I really, for the most part, I'm extremely happy with it. What I'm talking about today is the Holyton HT50 GPS-enabled quadcopter with, it's not quite 4K video. I think it upscales to 4K, but the actual dimensions of the video when recorded on board to the micro SD card is 2688 by 1512. Kind of a weird variance, but that's what it is. And you know, it's 25 frame per second video, so it's pretty decent. It's not the smoothest video, but it is not horrible by any stretch. We'll go into more about the video quality shortly. In the meantime, let's take a look. Let's see what you get for your money when you buy the HT50. First off, it comes in a nice, nifty little case like this. And what I really like about the case is when you're walking, it's got a huge strap. You can just put it on your shoulder, and you've got your hands free while you're going somewhere. Because a lot of times when you're flying, you don't just get out of the car and open everything up and fly. You have to walk somewhere. So let's see what's inside the case, because that's actually where the real meat of this is. Now, of course, it wouldn't be a quadcopter if you didn't actually have the quadcopter. Folding like most of them are nowadays. And that's how you open it up. You have to open it up front legs first because of these little guys there. If you try to open the back legs, it won't open. So that's the HT50. And it's a pretty decent machine. What else do you get in here? Well, you get an extra battery. This one had a battery in it, and then there's the number 2 battery. You get extra blades and a very nice quality compared to a lot of other ones that I've seen, little screwdriver. You're going to need that for opening things up. And you get a charging cable with, yes, it is a micro USB charging plug, and I'm not sure if there's circuitry in there or not, but I'd strongly recommend that you use the supplied cable for recharging these, because if you don't, it might create a problem. For instance, there might be circuitry in here that is designed to keep this from overloading, and we don't want that. That's a bad thing. Now, beneath the drone was this piece of foam. What's this piece of foam doing here? I'll show you. This is the controller. Notice this slots right over it, making it nice and compact and safe, protecting the controller from the drone. So we're going to put that back there. Also in there, and I pulled this out. No, that's not it. You know, I had it somewhere. So that's the problem. Cluttered mine. But there is a nice manual that comes with this. I just didn't leave it in here. So, yeah, that's my fault. Sorry about that. So let's go on with this. First, we're going to take a look at the drone. Now, if you notice, the front looks kind of funny. Why is that? Well, it's because there's a cover over the camera. So let's gently push in and pull out, and then you can easily take the cover off. Set that off to the side, and there is your camera. Now the camera is on a little bit of a suspension system, but not a 2-axis. That would be really great if this were a 2-axis. It's a single axis. We'll go more into that. But the camera does deliver exceptional quality video. How does it do it? Well, of course, when you're streaming to your phone on the app, what happens is the video is a lower grade signal to transmit through the air to get from the drone to the phone. which I'm almost done charging here. So I'm just going to unplug that. And then, so as I say, to get the really good video, if you notice, right here, you should be able to see it, there is a little slot with a micro SD card, or TF card, depending on how you call it. And this allows for direct recording from the camera onto there in the unit so that you get the crisp, high quality video. I believe there is an upgrade of the stream when it gets to the phone, but it will never be as clear as what you get on the machine. So let's set the battery over there. So there's that. Now the battery that comes with this is easy to install. You just simply push here and it slides very comfortably out. And then you grab your replacement and you slide it in. We're going to continue to stay with the one that we started with though. And although I recommend doing it this way, use your two fingers here and just push in. That way you get a nice solid click. You always want that in tight, because if it's up in the air, let's say you have it up 30 or 40 meters and this comes loose from, it's going to crash. It's not going to crash easy, it's going to crash hard. So you do not want that to come loose. So always make sure you get that click. So there's an optical flow positioning like a camera right here. That is not a video camera or for use for recording onto your phone or anything like that. That is to help stabilize and read the topography of the ground below you, so that if you're off GPS mode for whatever reason, it will simulate a GPS control, and by looking down, seeing what's below it, and using that map to keep it positioned in one spot while it's hovering. So it's actually a very clever thing, and they actually do that with much lower end drones, but it's still a very welcome feature here. So let's take a look at the remote control. The remote control, this is a small little guy, and it's very compact and has very few buttons on it, which I really love about that. So how does it work? Well, okay, how do remote controls work? They do that. It's I believe it's a 2.4 gigahertz. You know what? I will put the specs up on the remote control after I shot the video. So first off, we'll open that up so you have a place to put your phone. Then underneath here, there's an antenna, and unlike lower end drones, this is a real antenna. This actually is an antenna that you want there, and whenever you fly, always make sure that antenna is out and pointing as close to the drone as possible, regardless of where the drone is in the sky, so that it's getting the cleanest possible signal. And then these bottom pieces fold out to give you something to hold on to. What that also does is it protects this little micro USB port. Now, why is there a micro USB port? Because there's no slot for AAA or AA batteries, which I really love. I love that about this remote, because I think a real remote should have its own internal power. First off, you get more power, more consistent power, longer lasting power. And second, you don't spend a fortune on batteries or have to worry that you're in mid-flight and go, oh my gosh, I'm out of battery. You can pretty much see what you have. So this recharges fairly quickly once you've done the initial charge, with the same cable as is used to recharge the battery. So always after you're done flying, top it off, and you should never have a problem. So there's a power button, there's lift off and land, there's a calibration button, and a return to home button. Over here there is camera, still camera, video camera, and the camera slow angles down, slow angles up, so it's a smooth progression as opposed to boop, 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 boop like other cameras. And there's two buttons for that. So let me see if I can demonstrate that for you, because we're going to have to turn this on anyhow. So to turn it on, You press once and then a second time. Hey, you see that? So these lights are flashing, so nothing's paired to it, but it is on. So then, turn on the remote, and it pairs automatically. You don't have to do the up-down, it just does that. I believe it is like this will give you level calibration. I'm not sure about that, but double check that in the instruction. I'll correct myself in the final video with the text. So, now that we have that, we open up the phone. Go to settings, Wi-Fi off, Wi-Fi on, and you see it right there, Holyton. Click on that. And that's secured. Now, go to the app, and you see HT drone right there. Now, first things first. Okay, you hit confirm because it's just basically telling you to be safe and careful. But first things first, you want to calibrate. So you hit calibrate. Then it says, please connect the device first. I always have trouble with that one. Try hitting connect drone. Okay, now calibrate. Oh, there we go. Now look at that. There's an animation showing how this works. Now we are on the second floor, but I believe it still will work in here. So I'm going to put this down here, and I will, about a meter off the ground, turn it counterclockwise until it tells you otherwise. Okay, so you heard that beep? Now you turn it with the camera facing upward, and you do the same thing, counterclockwise but facing vertical.
Compass calibration okay.
And of course we're told the compass celebration is okay. So when you get this screen, you can now go to start. And when you go to start, what you're going to see is suddenly, and you will not get a camera signal before that. You have to do that procedure unless it's already figured that it's calibrated. And you hit confirm, and now you can see a good solid, hey, who is that handsome guy? A good solid signal. Alright?
Ready to fly.
Yeah, well, it's okay, it's saying ready to fly, but you know what? It's not, because it only has one satellite. One GPS satellite. I would not take off with one satellite. What I would tell you to look at, though, first off, there's the transmission level. There's the 3 bars. That's pretty good. So the drone is synced to the controller. So you've got good transmission there. The remote, you can see, it has a good solid battery, and the drone is at 100%. So everything is in good shape. We're up to 5 satellites right now.
Ready to fly.
It's saying ready to fly, but I really, personally, I prefer to wait till I have more satellites. In the meantime, there are a couple of different features on here. One of them is my favorite, the droney, which is down here, which when you tell it to do the drone action, it will fly up at a 45-degree angle away from you. So you got to make sure that it's pointed in the right direction and that there's nothing for it to hit. It'll go up quite a ways to the top level. That's one of a number of different features on there, which you should take some time to experiment with and see what they have. Also, here's you want to open this up when you first get it. It's going to be in beginner mode. Okay, that's when you first get it, and that beginner mode gives you a default ceiling of 99 feet and a default distance of 90 feet, so that theoretically you cannot control it or fly it beyond that point, even though this is rated for a longer range. So what you do is, when you get in here, before you do any takeoff the first time, you take it off of that mode, and then you simply move this to where you want. Okay, so I want it to be Now let's say I want a 900 foot cap. So I just slide that to 900. And that's for distance. And then for height, I want to go no more than 150 meters. And why is that? It's because I'm basically chicken. I'm a very conservative flyer, and I don't like to push things to their limits. There's also tracking information, and there is a find drone feature which will give you an understanding of, on a GPS, where you are. So you go back to, you can skip that at this point because you've already done that. So if you click on this here, this gives you a north, south, east, west, but if you click on that, you will see a Google map, which is expandable to show you where you are, and not just where the drone is, but also where the controller is. Okay? Yeah, I want to show you something while we're doing this with the controller.
Ready to fly.
Alright, we're not going to fly in here, okay? So that's a bad thing. But you can see.
Ready to fly.
Okay, there we go. You can see how the camera is angling downward there. And then you can also angle it back up, and it's smooth. Alright, so that's helpful. Alright, we don't need this on right now, so I am going to turn everything off. To do that, you press once real quick, and then a second time and hold. And you turn it off, fold that antenna, because you never want to hurt the antenna. You always want to make sure it's safe. Close everything up. Now, after you're done flying, it's important to recharge the battery. However, after you're done flying, you're going to feel here where it's vented that it's warm. You want to wait for that battery to cool down before you plug it back in. So it's okay to put it back in the bag, but do not recharge it until the battery is at room temperature. So, alright, listen. You've listened to me drone on and on for a bit. Drone. See what I did there? Why don't you take a look at some video of this thing in action, and we'll get back and I'll do a recap. Okay, we're back. Thank you for looking at the video. I hope you enjoyed that. Errata, a couple of things that I wasn't entirely accurate upon. I wasn't incorrect when I identified the center button as a calibration button, but it is also a dual function button. It is also going to put it into headless mode, so you have to be careful when you press this and see what it says on the display of the app as to whether or not it's switched from GPS mode to headless mode. Headless mode, for those of you who don't understand, is at the orientation that this is facing when it first takes off. It will not fly based on what you tell it to do this way. So like if it goes into headless mode and it's facing this way, and I push the control this way, it will go this way. It won't go this way, which is not the way most people fly. But this is done as a safety measure for people to be able to bring it back home if you lose GPS connection, which you're supposed to have that return to home is supposed to kick in if that happens as well. But it doesn't always. Also on this label comes when you first open it up. It comes here, it tells you what the functions are. You can adjust the speed 1, 2, 3 by pressing that toggle, and level calibration is like that, not like that, and I apologize. The range on this thing is 1/4 of a mile roughly. I'm not the sort of person who wants to go out and try that. I'm sure other people have and will go and test to see what the endurance is. Me, again, I'm a conservative flyer. I just want to enjoy flying. I don't want to enjoy watching something disappear on me. So, and also it's very difficult for me to see something like this 1/4 of a mile away. And you are supposed to fly by sight. So, those are a few errata there. Now, yeah, and of course, be careful with that calibration button. You're not going to want to calibrate while it's in flight anyhow, but be careful to use this sparingly if you go into headless mode, and make sure that you know that you're in headless mode. So, I did have a couple of issues where, while flying, suddenly, and this was fortunately, it was low to the ground and it was very close to me, suddenly I would tell the controller fly this way, and I would want it to go this way, but instead it would go this way or this way. And I didn't catch at the time that it had slipped out of GPS mode and into headless mode. However, it's not been a very common experience with the HT50. Most of the time I have flown it, I have had no issue. It's done very well in reasonable wind. The video quality, I wanted to talk to you about that too before we go. The video quality is going to be a bit jumpy because of its single axis only. The yellowing is minimized by having that suspension system, but a true second axis gimbal would have made a big difference. And that's, I suspect, why this thing originally was available to me for $199 and is currently available now at I believe that's the amount currently available now at $139. Is I believe that the lack of a second axis on the gimbal is probably the main driver of that is now seen as a more $200 plus item on drones. I do have a Specta Mini, which is a DJI clone that has 3-axis gimbal, which provides super smooth, super clear video. I'm not here to say how does this compare to that, because they're in different classes. But yeah, the Specta Mini is able to go much further. It's got different features, different programs. The Holyton rather, is a very nice mid-range between beginner and a DJI level drone. So it's definitely worth your time. The HT50 is a very good machine. A few things to watch out for, a few things to be careful of. Always make sure you've got a micro SD card in there so that you get the better quality video, and always fly safe. Oh, that reminds me, this is not equipped with geofencing software, meaning it will fly in an area that is even heavily geofenced. So if you do that, use your brain, be smart, do not try and do anything stupid, keep it below tree level, and keep it simple. And also, it do allow for the possibility that depending on how close you are to, say, an airport or something like that, that could cause problems with the GPS on board here, creating flyaway situations. That is a possibility. I've had actually discussions with Holyton about that issue. Well, I think that's it, and I'm very happy to recommend the Holyton HT50 to you. I did find my manual, by the way. Nice big manual. Comes in both English and German, so a lot of useful information in here. Enjoy this vehicle. Buy it. Have fun with it. But get it at the lower price if you can, because the gimbal issue is the one thing. On a breezy day, you will see a much more jumpy video than you want to see. But if you know that it's got only the single axis with the suspension system, which helps to minimize yellowing, you're going to get decent video. Just you got to position it properly. I've already done some great photos and some great video. So I will see you next time with another review, and thank you very much.